What's up, Titans? Welcome back to another episode of Titan Sports, bringing you the best coverage of Cal State Fullerton athletics. I'm Kush Parikh.
And I'm Megan Tate. Kush, baseball, softball had busy weekends. There's a lot going on with spring sports and the MLB. Tell me what you think about everything.
I'm excited, super excited. We have a lot to talk about today in the episode. Talk about softball's Judy Garment Classic, talk about baseball Stanford series, and MLB, Bryce Harper. It is a crazy shakeup in the MLB.
I can't wait to see how everything happens, but for now, let's take a look at what's going on in Fullerton athletics.
The Cal State Fullerton Titans had their home opener against the Stanford Cardinal this past weekend. Let's take a peek at the highlights. Number 24, Cal State Fullerton, and number 11, Stanford, teed off for the first time of the series Friday night. Fullerton would produce right off the bat in the bottom of the first. Hank LaFort would hit one into the gap for a leadoff triple. The next batter coming up was Brett Borgonio. He would bat next and drive in the first run of the game with an RBI single. Still 1-0 in the bottom of the fourth inning, and Mitchell Berryhill would hit the ball to right field, advancing the runner from first to third. The Titans would capitalize with a runner on third as Jackson Lyon brings him in with a chopper to third. Titans would lead 2-0. Sophomore Tanner Bybee was pitching a gem through 5 innings, striking out 6 and only allowing 3 hits. However, though, he would fall into trouble in the 6th inning. Zahid Valenzuela makes a great grab at short and turns it to 2 for the force out, but the runner from third would score. Titans would still lead 2-1. Still in the 6th inning, and Stanford Brandon Wolf would blast the ball past the center field wall to give the Cardinal a 3-2 lead. The Titans showed their resilience in the 7th as Brett Borgonio ties the game up with his second RBI single of the night. But in the 7th inning, Stanford said, "Anything you can do, I can do better." Shortstop Tim Tawa drives in the runner from third, and that'd be the deciding hit of the game. Stanford would win the first game of the series 4-3. They would win the second game as well, 8-1. However, the third game was a different story. The Titans rallied back down from 2 runs, and Jairus Richard hit a walk-off RBI single to bring Zahid Valenzuela in.
Cal State Fullerton had a successful showing in the Judy Garment Classic this past weekend. They hit the ground running in an upset victory against 20th ranked Oregon in Game 1 of the tournament. Let's take a look at the highlights from the game. Let's head over to Anderson Family Field as Fullerton takes on yet another ranked Pac-12 opponent. The Titans came out strong in the first inning as Ari Williams blasts a solo bomb deep into left field, her 4th one of the season, giving the Titans a 1-0 lead. The Titans would strike again in the 3rd as Deja Hill sends a line drive down the middle for an RBI single. Titans up 2-0. The Ducks would answer back in the 4th inning though and get their bats going as Oregon's Jasmine Severs has an RBI single, bringing in a run. Ducks trail the Titans 2-1. Later in the 4th, Sophie Frost would walk Oregon's Hannah Gailey with bases loaded, tying the game at 2-2. But Deja Hill would win the game for the Titans in walk-off fashion as she drives an RBI single to left field in the bottom of the 7th. Titans win the game 3-2. The Titans would dominate their next game in the Judy Garment Classic with an 11-3 run rule victory over UConn. The Titans had 3 home runs to contribute to this win, including Deja Hill's first career Grand Slam. Fullerton would close out the tournament with a doubleheader on Sunday. The Titans struggled to get their bats going against Washington's pitching in their first game of the day. The Titans lost 2-0 to the Huskies. Washington's Toronto Velo would strike out 16 batters to keep the game out of reach for the Titans. The Titans were able to bounce back in the second game of the doubleheader. They would beat New Mexico 19-1 in another run rule victory. The Titans would tack on 5 home runs in the game. Due to rain, the game against University of Texas San Antonio was canceled. The Titans would end the Judy Garment Classic with a 3-1 record, making their overall record stand at 12-7.
Cal State Fullerton took on 9th place Cal Poly Mustangs on Thursday night in a showdown that ended very memorably. Let's take a look at the highlights. The Titans were looking to sweep their 4th conference opponent this season as the Mustangs came into town. Interior offense would be the story for the Mustangs through the entire first half. Although they shot less than 15% from behind the arc, they scored 24 of their 35 first half points in the paint. The Mustangs guard Donovan Field would take it to the rack after the sweet crossover, but Fullerton would trail Cal Poly 35-32 at the half. However, the second half was a different story for the Titans. Kyle Allman Jr. drives to the rack with a head of steam to give the Titans their first lead of the half. Rebounding would be a big factor throughout the night, and Jacksonville would contribute 13 rebounds, including this one where he tips it in for the putback to give the Titans a 2-point lead. The Mustangs tried to make a late game comeback, but Rowe was having none of that as he blocks a shot off the backboard. The Titans maintained a 9-point lead. Later on in the game, a very special moment for Cal State Fullerton as senior team manager Sammy Jones checked into the game for his first NCAA minutes. Jones took the ball off the crossover and took it to the rack and got the and one. His teammates were loving it and so were the fans. Jones would end up sinking the free throw and the Titans would go on to win by the score of 86-75. After the game, head coach Dietrich Taylor and Sammy Jones had some words about his special moment. Check it out.
We found a way to win. We found a way to win. It wasn't pretty, but we found a way to win. And more importantly, as a coach, there are certain moments that you get to be a part of. And what we witnessed there at the end, that's what it's about. We have a young man named Sammy Jones who's been a part of our program for 4 years. He's a senior, and our staff fought to get him eligible and get him on point. And he goes into the game, and that just kind of tells you all is right with the world when you're able to be a part of those moments. That will be something that our program will never forget. That'll be something that Sammy and his family will never forget. And bigger than the win, I'm just proud to be a part of it.
Well, early on, it didn't look like I was getting in, so I was just trying to stay a little bit loose, and then he let me go in, so I ripped my warm-up off. I don't think I've smiled that big in a long time. And then went and got the ball at the top of the key. He told me to hold it, so I thought, all right, I'm getting a turnover. At least I'm in the stat sheet. And then he just said, get to the rim, so I just got to the rim.
The women's basketball team won their second straight home game, defeating UC Irvine 67-58. The Titans kept the game close, leading by only 3 points at halftime, but they turned it around, leading by as much as 15 points in the third quarter. Deja Smith led the Titans with a double-double performance of 19 and 11. Reina Perez tacked on 17 points and 6 assists. The Titans had an efficient night, shooting 50% from the field. All right, now let's check out how hot the tea is today with What the Tusk. Brandy and Ashling, what do you have for us?
What the Tusk is up, Titans? Your girls are back to fill you in on all the latest and greatest of all things outside of Titan athletics. And you already know, I'm Brandy Flores.
And I'm Ashling Insulin. We have quite a bit to discuss today, from Snoop giving up on the Lakers to where Kyler Murray is going to go, because rumor has it he's going to be the first overall pick to the Arizona Cardinals.
Well, let's start with how Snoop has officially announced that he has given up on the Lakers. It is no secret that even though the Lakers have LeBron James and a mostly healthy team besides Lonzo, the Lakers' playoff hopes are as good as dead. After losing to the Phoenix Suns on Saturday, who are arguably the worst team in the NBA right now, Snoop Doggy Dogg decided to express his concerns as a fan.
And it's terrible watching my Lakers play. Somebody got to go. Somebody got to go. Matter of fact, a lot of got to go. Starting with the coach. Well, it ain't going to work. This is not the LA way. Ship all them out. These sorry ain't going to do nothing. Get LeBron some help, because these goofballs ain't gonna do it. They sorry. They suck. I'm selling my fucking booth right now. I got a booth for the next 2 years, 3 years. This year, y'all can have it. $5 for the fucking booth to the Laker games. $5 is the price.
Snoop is an LA native and has always expressed tremendous amounts of support to LA teams, but it seems as though he has had enough with everyone on the Lakers except LeBron, of course, and fans all over the internet agreed for the most part. How could they not? I do think that his remarks regarding the players were performing a little rough, though.
Yeah, I mean, the Lakers might suck, but hey, at least LA can expect the Clippers to go to the playoffs. I think I speak for all Laker fans when I say that we do miss Zuby with all of our hearts. But he is much happier and a lot less stressed out playing for that other LA team. It's just a shame nobody really cares much about the Clippers.
What a shame. Rumor has it Kyler Murray is going the first-round pick in the NFL draft to the Arizona Cardinals. This comes just after he announced that he was done with baseball. On February 11th, the Oakland Athletics signee released a statement that his focus is now on being an NFL quarterback.
Murray was reportedly scheduled to meet with representatives from Arizona staff on Friday at the 2019 NFL Combine in Indianapolis, per ESPN. The 2018 Heisman Trophy winner was not at the annual scouting combine to throw or participate in any of the on-field drills, but simply to meet with the teams.
Sobi, do you think that Kyler is going to regret leaving the MLB for the NFL?
I think that long-term, eventually, yes, because MLB you could play for many years and still make a lot of money. NFL, not as much, but he clearly loves playing football, and I think that's why he chose that.
Yeah, I do think that this is something where it's hard with a two-sport athlete, you know? Mm-hmm. And this is not he's average at football but good at baseball, or average at baseball and good at football. He's phenomenal at both sports, and I know that the Athletics were afraid of this to begin with. But you know what? We'll see how he does.
Good for him. Hey, Aisling, I suggest we propose a new mini-segment for our segment.
I'm done. What is it?
Well, this segment will focus on the allegation of sports professionals who have had against them on regards of how they treat women. I present to you the Men Are Trash segment.
I love it. But for real, what happened?
Well, CEO of the San Francisco Giants, Larry Bayer, is stepping away from the team as the MLB investigates an incident where a video surfaced on TMZ last week showing Bayer fighting over his cell phone with his poor wife, Pam. Hey, Pam. And she is seen on the ground, suggesting that he pushed her to the ground.
In the video, you can hear Bayer's wife screaming, "Oh my God, no!" And then we see Bayer walking away with the cell phone in hand. So his nudes might be safe, but he's still in trouble. The Giants Board of Directors announced this morning that, quote, Mr. Bayer has acknowledged that his behavior was unacceptable, apologized to the organization, and is committed to taking the steps to make sure that this never happens again, end quote. Of course. I'm so sorry. This will never happen again. Every single man that's ever committed something and done something to a woman.
Also, I think it's hilarious. Let's just say he was cheating. That's what I think, because I think all men are trash is the point of this segment. So, I mean, he couldn't use something like a little safer to hide his nudes. Like, what's going on there?
He's a grown man, though.
He probably didn't know about the cloud. Pam didn't check the cloud. Like, all jokes aside, it's very unacceptable that a grown man is even doing that over a cell phone. I mean, what was on there?
Who knows?
Now, if I were her, I'm on her side.
Of course we are.
We're with her.
Two of MLB's most popular players, Mike Trout and Bryce Harper, have been in contact a lot recently as Harper turned to Trout in recent months for advice on picking a team to end his free agency.
Seeing that Trout grew up in Philly and they had met in 2011, keeping in contact since their meeting, he was an easy contact to get insight. Harper has also not kept it a secret that he wants Trout to come to Philly when his contract is up in 2 years with the Angels.
Harper said, quote, I'm making $26 million a year, something like that. So I guess that's going to be able to bring some other guys in as well as to be able to help this organization win. I know there's another guy in about 2 years that comes off the books. We'll see what happens with him, end quote. I think it's no secret that my boy Harper is talking about Mike Trout.
Oh, so obvious.
No
and like
secret.
the Instagram DMs, like he wants him to come to Philly.
Oh, of course.
I think that Philly can do it. I know they just signed him for that giant, massive deal. But I think they can do it in 2 years if they kind of just make some trades, make some adjustments. I mean, I would do it for Mike Trout, wouldn't you?
Of course. I would do it as well. I think we're both on the same page as this. I think Mike Trout is a much better player than Bryce Harper.
Yeah, he's one of the best of all time.
Of course.
For sure.
And you know what? We'll see how it goes. I hope he goes somewhere else besides the Angels when his contract is up in 2 years.
Yeah.
That man deserves a ring somewhere. Well, that's all your girls have for you this week. Make sure you're keeping up with what the task is going on, Titans.
We will see you next week, and right now we're going to send it over to Kyle Fulbright with In Case You Missed It. Take it away, Kyle.
Thank you, guys. I'm Kyle Fulbright, and if you missed any of the action last week, I have you covered in case you missed it. Dribbling over to the hardwood, the men's basketball team lost a close one to UC Davis, 66-59. It would be a career night for Kyle Allman, though, as he would set the program record for most games played with 122. Now passing it over to women's basketball, where they would make the trip to Hawaii and fall to the Rainbow Warriors, 70-55. Deja Smith would have her fourth 20-point game of the season for the Titans, but it wouldn't be enough. Hurtling over to track and field, they would open their season at the RCC Invitational and would win 13 events on the day. Charles Kelly and Marcel Espinoza would each post personal best in the 110-meter hurdles and the 200-meter, respectively. The women's golf team competed in the Gold Rush Invitational, where they would finish in 14th place and shoot 57 over par, 921. We finish on the courts, where the Titans tennis team would dominate Azusa Pacific 7-0 to improve their overall record to 4-2. We now send it over to Titan Timeline for a look at this week's upcoming games.
Thanks, Kyle. I'm Julio Marquez, and welcome to Titan Timeline, where we got you covered for the upcoming games this week. Let's start on the mound first with the baseball team. They will host Arizona State on March 5th and 6th here at Goodwin Field. Then they will travel to New Mexico for a 3-game weekend series from the 8th to the 10th. From the mound to the circle, the softball team will travel to Northern California to compete in the Silicon Valley Classic. On Friday the 7th, they will play against San Jose State. Then Saturday features a back-to-back where the Titans will play Nevada and Weber State. Those games will be followed up by another back-to-back on Sunday against Northern Kentucky and Santa Clara. Let's take one last step back into Titan Gym. This Saturday, the men's basketball team can clinch the number 2 seed in the Big West with a win as they host Hawaii. This will be the last game in Titan Gym for all the seniors on the team, and they will be honored on senior night, so you won't want to miss it, just like they don't want to miss their last shots. Crossing over to women's basketball, they will head to Long Beach State on Thursday the 7th. Then on Saturday, they'll close out their regular season on senior night at home against UC Riverside. This game will be a part of a doubleheader with the men's team. From the court to the green, the men's golf team will be up north partaking in the Olympic Club Intercollegiate. They'll be in San Francisco from Sunday the 10th through the 12th. From the clubs to the rackets, the women's tennis team will host Hawaii on Tuesday and Long Beach State this Saturday. Running over to the track field team will host the Ben Brown Invitational this Friday and Saturday in their home opener. Well, that's what's going on this week, Titans. Make sure you stay updated on the next Titan Timeline next week. Back to you guys at the desk.
That's all we have time for today. Thanks for tuning in for today's episode.
You can watch our past episodes and game highlight packages on our YouTube channel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CSUF Titan Sports, and like us on Facebook to stay connected with us.
On behalf of Titan Sports and all of us here, I'm Kush Parikh.
And I'm Megan Tate. Remember to keep those tusks up, Titans, and we'll see you next time.